Hi, this is Joan, and you're looking at a picture of Derrick Jackson's wife, and this is taken from the Chrissy channel, and the title of the video is Why Derrick Jackson's Wife Singled Out His Dark-Skinned Mistresses and Hated Her Daughter's Dark Skin. Okay, I have no issues at all with what Chrissy was saying. This is the section that she pointed out. Now, this is I think it's not a blog, but it's writing by Derrick Jackson's wife. And in it, she's stating a lot of things that I think really explain why she is married to Derrick Jackson. And if it wasn't him, it would probably be someone else who was similar to him. Now, she stated here that she hated her body, her skin, her personality, her clothes, women, topic for another day, her own daughter's dark skin, and men, just to name a few. Now, I was looking at what came right afterward. I was bitter at the hand that life had dealt me. Daddy rejected me. Daddy died. Rape. Voluntary sharing of a man. Okay, as I have said before, narcissist victims are often empaths, and they often come from narcissists. That is, narcissists, someone in their past in a position of strength convinced them that they didn't count. What they wanted didn't count, what they needed didn't count. They were pretty much replaceable. They just were almost nothing. Now, in my personal life, I had called my ex-husband when I was talking to my sister about him. I was saying that, the kids, at least two of them, seem to have taken more after him than me. And I think that he is the gift that keeps on giving. That is the thing about narcissists when you marry and reproduce with them. I believe that it is an inheritable trait. Now, it might be a trait that that has to be like a seed that has to be planted in a specific type of soil, but it is still like pretty much anything else you have. When you procreate with someone, they have a 50-50 chance of inheriting something from you or inheriting it from your mate. So it sounds as if Miss Jackson was the victim of a narcissist in her past, and she makes a point of saying, Daddy rejected me, then Daddy died. Okay, the rejection was bad enough. That was hard enough to deal with. But then the fact that he died before she could even feel like she had done enough so that maybe she would be able to get his love. Okay? The thing is, when a child is raised up in that kind of environment, and remember that one of the first things narcissists do is they isolate you. So if a child is raised up in that kind of environment and they don't have someone else who can act as kind of as an anchor, or is someone who goes against the almost deadening quality of the narcissist, then this child totally thinks the way they're treated is normal. They don't have anything else to judge it against. They can't say, depending upon how narcissistic and also how isolated they are, they can't say, well, Aunt so-and-so treats me well, Aunt so-and-so says I'm beautiful, or Uncle so-and-so took me to so-and-so place and they said I was wonderful. If they don't have anything to balance the shame, and that's another thing you'll get from children of narcissists. Narcissists. They feel shame. They're made to feel that everything about them is below par, that they simply aren't good enough. Now, she says that she hates her daughter's dark skin. Okay, you look at her, she's kind of brown. And she married a dark-skinned man. So my guess is maybe her mother was kind of light, and her father was dark. And like I said, people tend to repeat. especially with people in general. But if a person comes from a narcissistic family or a narcissistic parent who has singled them out, then they are going to try to recapture that love in the person that they marry. Well, it's not even recapture because they didn't have the love in the first place. They're trying to get the love that they didn't get. If she had been singled out for, well, you're not as light as your mom. I'm just guessing. If she had a light mom, I have no idea. But let's say it's a situation where a person had a light-skinned mom, a dark-skinned father. The father does not, well, let's face it, narcissists don't like their children either. They use everybody. But let's say that, like Michael Jackson's father did, he singled him out for his big nose. So I'm not saying he had a big nose, I'm just saying that's what Michael Jackson's father said, or at least reportedly said. So Michael Jackson went through life. As soon as he got some money, first thing he wanted to do was, let me get rid of that nose. Let me fix that nose. Let me fix it. So in her case, if she has a father who has a definite preference for light skin and she comes out brown, well, she's going to feel bad about that too. Like, I'm tolerable. I'm not dark, but I'm not light either. So you would say, well, why don't you marry a light-skinned man? Okay, because he would not look like her father. Now, that's just me guessing. I don't really know what her parents look like, but I do think when you see someone who is taking a lot of abuse and does not seem to be really, really angry about it, or really, like they say, the bitter black woman. I mean, as Cynthia G pointed out, should I got a right to be bitter? You have done things to make me bitter. If someone is dogging a person out and they're not angry, they're not upset, they're not just bitter, well then in that case, it could be because they feel somehow they deserve it. They feel shame. A lot of victims of narcissistic parents feel shame. I'm ashamed because I came out the wrong color. You could also be ashamed because I came out female. This is a male-dominant society still. And a lot of times people, especially men, still say, I want a boy. It doesn't mean that they want to stick around and raise them necessarily. It just means that they want a boy. So there are a lot of different scenarios that could have gone on to cause her to feel like, something that you would think is definitely a conflict. Okay, that you say, I don't like my daughter's dark skin, but I married a dark man. Well, you ought to also look at who was her dad. I mean, what did he look like? Are you trying to find somebody who looked like him? Because it is fairly common. Well, it's beyond fairly common. It's very common for dark-skinned men to go for light-skinned women and to hope that the girls come out light and the boys come out dark. Like I said, she is kind of in the middle. But she says she hated her body and her skin. And she specifically stated she hated her daughter's dark skin. So, living with a narcissist or coming from a narcissist, well, you had to live with them before you got out and got married, is like having come from, like I told my sister describing my ex-husband and my children, that my ex-husband was the gift that keeps on giving. But, in the 90s when I was married, we didn't have any information like this. And even in psychology programs, narcissism was not really discussed. Personality disorders to a certain extent, but not narcissism. So it's a wonderful thing that there are channels out here and there are people coming out saying that this is what happened to me. But the society, in my opinion, as a whole, is really going toward narcissism. It is making it easier for people to be narcissists, And it is pretty much applauding those who are people who love putting all their information out there, people who have no problems and are very good at lying. Now, I believe that there are basically three types of people here. You've got your empaths, which might be what she is. You have your narcissists, which might be what he is, and you have your people in between. The two the two kinds of people who are outside the regular bell curve are pretty much attracted to each other. Or better yet, instead of saying they're attracted to each other, I'll say that the narcissist preys on the empath. The empath is growing up thinking that something is wrong with them, something is missing. And I do believe that social phobia correlates extremely highly with being the child of a narcissist, because you're told in words and in actions that you don't need to be seen. You are you're beyond invisible. You're forcing us to see you when maybe we shouldn't see you, which could lead to feelings of shame. Okay? And if you feel shame with the people who you are intimately involved with, if you feel that it's something about you that is so bad that these people who should love you treat you badly, you're going to go out in the world and think that, well, this is just how I'm treated. So that, as I said, could lead to social phobia. And also avoidant personality disorder. Because if you consider that as a child, if your parent is a narcissist, your parent is kind of a bully. And this parent is everywhere. You cannot get up and, if you're 7 years old, you can't get up and say, well, I'm moving out of here. I don't like the way you're talking to me. Can't do it. Where are you going to go? Who's going to believe you? And plus, your parents are your world. So if they say you suck, to your mind, well, I guess I suck. And if my parent, who is supposed to love me, says I suck, what's going to happen to me out there in this world? So I better be perfect, and I better be quiet. Because if I say too much, if I bring too much attention to myself, it's going to bring on what I get when I'm at home. It's going to bring on the put downs, the criticisms, the being told that you just aren't right, or being just plain ignored. So I just wanted to make this video just to explain in another way narcissism, and always what I'm saying I like to relate back to the Bible. So let me leave you with a verse on this Sabbath. Basically, I believe that you have a choice in life. Everybody has this basic choice. You can listen to the Most High, who is giving you every breath you have, and is therefore saying, I love you. I'm giving you a chance. I'm taking care of you. Or you can listen to a narcissist who says, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're too dark, you're too short, you're too fat, you're too whatever it is he doesn't happen to like. Okay? The choice is up to yours. The narcissist is going to do everything he possibly can to make you follow him and devaluing you. But the choice ultimately is yours. So let me read this to you. This is 1 Peter 1, 6-7. In this you rejoice, though now for a little while, if necessary, you have been grieved by various trials, so that the tested genuineness of your faith, more precious than gold that perishes though it is tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Jesus Christ. So, when you get a chance, please visit my website. This is the Faith-Based Counseling Center, and these are some of my books. So what I really would like you to look at, if you have been victimized by a narcissist, is biblical encouragement, because it tells you the story of King David, especially before he was a king. And I think that his story chronicles what happens to a gifted person who is born into a narcissistic family. I also offer biblical counseling, and you can email me at fbcc@mail.com. So this is Joan Jones, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful and prayerful day.